Please don't spoil the movie by adding your own soundtrack.
Hello, my name is Betty Boo.
So unoriginal. My name is Raven Baxter.
And welcome back to
Please don't spoil the movie.
Hey, Jada, how are you?
Fine, I guess. Taking it day by day. This thing they call life.
Yeah.
What about you? What's going on in your end?
Not much. Busy season at work.
Oh. That's why you were at work late?
Yeah, yesterday we were there till 7:30.
7:30?
Yeah. I was like, I won't be doing this again.
Yikes, we gotta fix that.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, my next job venture, I'll be working for myself, so.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
How are we doing that? What do we be doing?
I'm gonna be a vlogger. No.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Creative endeavors.
Okay.
I'm gonna start an online business or something, and I'm gonna start vlogging.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. I love to hear it. Let's speak it out into the universe. Let's manifest it. Because this working shit is for the birds and the motherfucking bees.
Yeah. It's not gonna...
It's not conducive to our lifestyle.
Right. It's not gonna make you happy.
Right.
One day you just gotta realize, hey, a job's a job. I have to separate myself from that and look for joy elsewhere. Yeah.
Because this ain't it, baby. This ain't it. Speaking of jobs, as we all know, I'm unemployed. And I'm really fucking pissed because well, actually, technically, I'm not employed. I actually started a new job on Monday.
Unemployed, right? Mm-hmm.
That's what I said, right?
They said, I'm technically not employed. I don't know if you said unemployed.
Technically, I'm not unemployed. I started a new job on Monday. Hate it. I don't hate it. Well, I do hate it. When I applied for the role and I interviewed or whatever, and I got the position, I was like, I got this position way back in like June. And I was like, I'm only going to accept this position in the interim if I don't find something else. Right. And when I do find something else, I'm obviously not going to take this job. So this was really just supposed to be a cushion to hold me over for when I do find something. And unfortunately, given this economy and this job market, I wasn't able to find jack shit. And I'm really fucking pissed about that. So now I started this job that I didn't fucking want to do. And we're on day 3. And I'm really upset about it. I was really irritated because there was this one job that I was applying for literally up until the last fucking second until I started this job on Monday. I had to put together not a scenario, but an event. Basically an event package. Bitch, when I tell you I put together a 10-star motherfucking presentation for these motherfuckers, I'm gonna send you that shit. And tell me it's not the best presentation you've ever seen in your fucking life.
Yeah. I guess I'm doing right now. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Because you
yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to see you right now. So you can look through it as I'm talking.
Okay. Yeah, it looks good.
Doesn't it? Doesn't that look fucking fantastic? So I presented this to these people, and they're like, oh my God, wow, this is fantastic. Oh my goodness, I wasn't expecting all this beautiful presentation. Monday came around when I was starting my new job, currently working, that I didn't want. I get the email. We decided to go. It was between you and another person, but we decided to go with the other candidate. I was so fucking irritated. I wanted to punch a wall. I started fucking crying. I was like, how fucking dare y'all make me cry? I'm trying to look on the bright side. It was a lot of travel. I'm tired of fucking traveling. I really don't care to do that shit no more.
Yeah.
But I've done it before, so I was okay with the concept of doing it. But I was like, all
right.
But whatever.
Well, what's for you is coming. Do you want to be? Is your goal in life to be marketing?
Sure, like I'm okay with living my life as like a marketing executive at like a top brand or something like that. Preferably maybe in like television. Underneath that, if not television, like a major brand or something like that.
I wish I could tell you how to get there. I really want to do a horoscope because while I want you to figure this out for yourself because it's your life journey, it also stresses me out a lot. But then I have to remember it's her path. And I never know what this might be the direction you're supposed to take. You might be struggle and say fuck it one day, and I don't know.
Right.
Who knows?
That's what I'm thinking too. You're me and you are right there together because I'm like, fuck, maybe this is what maybe God didn't give me this role because he was like, bitch, that's too much work. You need to hunker down on your own shit that you need to focus on, and you can't be doing that planning fucking events from a company that ain't got shit to do with you.
But I'm gonna try to do your horoscope, and then I'm bringing my tarot cards, and I'll do a reading for you.
Okay, you're really stepping into your magic powers, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm really turning to the more spiritual route. I had a spiritual awakening, because I haven't really shared that with anyone, but I did have a spiritual awakening.
Fair is fair. Look, I don't judge, especially when it comes to religion.
Yes.
Believe what you want to believe, believe in your own God, your own universe, your moon, your stars, the sun. I personally, myself, think we all, as in Black people or those of African heritage, ancestry, we all need to go back to what they was doing before they pushed their Western religion on us during slavery. When they packed us up and shipped us across to the Western world and they pushed their God on us, I want to go back to what the fuck they was doing before all that. When they was doing the plants, the moons, the suns, the stars, the dirt, I want to go back to that shit. Teach me about that. That's what I want to know. All right, speaking of the Matrix and shit not being real, right? Feel me? You feel me? Think animation. Think the Great Depression. I don't know what time period this is. Post World War II. I don't know. Think the 1940s. Think old Hollywood. Think detective. Think political corruption. Think murder. Think affairs. Think murder mystery who done it. And that brings us to drumroll, please. Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Oh, classic.
Yeah.
What a great movie. I forgot about this one. Do you like this movie as much as I do?
Yeah, who doesn't love this movie?
It's so fun.
It is. It's so whimsical.
I'm surprised no one's ever done. They kind of did it with puppets.
Yeah,
not really with.
They did that Looney Tune movie with that guy.
Yes,
from Brandon Fraser. Yeah, they did that.
What was that? Back in Looney Tunes Back in Action.
Yeah.
The
film is a live-action and animated mystery comedy set in the 1940s Hollywood, where cartoon characters known as Toons live alongside humans. Private Detective Eddie Valiant is hired to investigate a scandal involving cartoon star Roger Rabbit. But the case quickly turns into a murder mystery when Roger becomes the prime suspect. Eddie reluctantly teams up with Roger to uncover the truth while facing the sinister Judge Doom, who plans to threaten all of Toontown. Kind of gave it away there, but sorry. Not to give it all away.
Right.
The film is a fantasy comedy film directed by Robert Zemeckis from a screenplay written by Jeffrey Price and Peter Seaman. Tough name. It is loosely based on Gary K. Wolfe's novel, Who Censored Roger Rabbit? Remember, if it's a good movie, it was the book first. However, in Wolfe's novel, Who Censored Roger Rabbit, the Toons were comic strip characters rather than movie stars. So, and I tried to figure out what was the plot of the book, because it's loosely based off of it. I couldn't. I have time to look that deep. But basically, Roger Rabbit goes to the detective and asks him to investigate something for him instead of how it was R.K. Maroon and whatever. Yeah. Okay. Walt Disney Productions first purchased the film rights to Gary K. Wolfe's Who Censored Roger Rabbit novel shortly after its publication in 1981. And the president of Disney at the time saw it as a perfect opportunity to produce a blockbuster picture. Robert Zemeckis. Do you know who Robert Zemeckis is?
No.
Robert Zemeckis gave us the fantastic film that is Back to the Future.
Oh, that's the director or the writer?
He wrote and directed Back to the Future. Yeah.
Work.
So Robert Zemeckis offered his services as director, but Disney declined as his two previous films, I Want to Hold Your Hand and Used Cars, had been box office bombs. Mind you, this is before Back to the Future comes out. So this is 1981. We haven't touched Back to the Future yet. So he had these two shitty films. They're like, yeah, no fucking thanks. You suck at your job. We don't want you. But between 1981 and 1983, Disney developed test footage with Daryl Van Keeters as animation director. Paul Rubens voicing Roger Rabbit. Paul Rubens is Pee Wee Herman.
Oh.
So he was voicing Robert.
No.
I could see it.
Too much.
I could see it. Peter Renaday as Eddie Valiant. Russie Taylor as Jessica Rabbit. And Jack Angel as Captain Cleaver. These people would eventually fall off. We don't see these people in the film.
Right.
The film was finally greenlit with a budget of $30 million, which at the time would have still been the most expensive animated film ever produced. Steven Spielberg and his production company was approached to produce Who Framed Roger Rabbit alongside Disney, and Spielberg was able to convince Warner Brothers, Fletcher Studios, Harvey Comics, King Features, Flexicat Productions, Turner Entertainment Co., and Universal Pictures to lend their characters to appear in the film. In some cases, stipulations, however, were put on the characters. For example, Disney's Donald Duck and Warner Brothers' Daffy Duck appear as equally talented dueling pianists. So their times kind of had to be set at the same. Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny also share a scene as skydivers, and Tinkerbell and Porky Pig close the film.
I did not know Steven Spielberg produced this movie.
And he was also attached to Back to the Future. So it all started to make sense. Robert Zemeckis was later then hired to direct in 1985 based on the success of Back to the Future.
It's been that long?
Yeah. What was it, 1981? Now we're in 1985. I mean, it was, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Disney called him up. They said, hey, remember when we said you couldn't do that job because we thought you would suck at it? Well, now we want you back. So, yes.
Welcome to the big picture. We saw you motion picture on the big screen.
Welcome to the big motion picture biz. Welcome to the Daily Bugle. Yeah.
Take a sip right here.
Yeah.
Scan this.
Yeah.
Have a cigarette.
Cool car, Johnny. Where was I? And then they picked this British guy, Richard Williams, to direct the animation. So Zemeckis wanted the film to exhibit Disney's high quality of animation, Warner Brothers characterization, and Tex Avery's humor. Tex Avery was a animator who created and voiced a lot of characters. Peter Renaday originally portrayed Eddie Valiant in the original test footage from 1983, while animator Mike Gabriel played him in some publicity photographs. Joe Pantalone portrayed Eddie Valiant in a screen test in 1986. That Joe Pantalone is, apparently I saw he was on The Sopranos. Oh, what else is he in? There was something else he was in.
He's in The Matrix.
I was thinking Bad Boys. That's what he's in. Bad Boys.
He's in Bad Boys.
Yeah.
He's a cop in Bad Boys.
Right. That's what
he's the villain in The Matrix. He portrays Neo. Shit, he in a lot of stuff. I think.
Right. So, Harrison Ford, however, was Spielberg's original choice to play Eddie Valiant, but his price was too high. Chevy Chase was the second choice, but he was not interested.
He's an asshole.
God. Eddie Murphy rejected the role after misunderstanding the film's tone, a decision he later regretted. In 2025, Murphy elaborated, "It sounded ridiculous to me, and I passed on it. And afterwards, I was like, oh, that's fucking amazing."
What was he going to be?
Eddie Valiant, the detective.
Oh, that'd have been cool.
That would have been very interesting. I would have enjoyed he would have been very young. But
yeah, I get why he was like, no.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a hard concept to understand.
It is a hard concept to wrap your head around.
But I would be regretful too.
Right, of course. Bill Murray also considered for the role, but due to his strange method of receiving offers for the role, whatever that method was, he missed out on it. Robin Williams.
You have to come to my house. You must kiss my feet, and then you must offer me the movie.
Yes, and then give me your firstborn child. Then I'll do the film. Ultimately, though, the role went to Bob Hoskins. He was chosen by Spielberg because of his acting skills and because Spielberg believed he had a hopeful demeanor and he looked like he belonged in that era. He really does. To facilitate Bob Hoskins' performance, Fletcher dressed up in a Roger Rabbit costume on set and stood in behind camera for most scenes. Roger Rabbit was originally designed by Michael Giammi to resemble and act like Michael J. Fox from Back to the Future. but was redesigned later. Roger was a combination of Tex Avery, who was the animator, cashew nut-shaped head, the swatch of the red hair, Goofy's overalls, Porky the Pig's bow tie, Mickey Mouse's gloves, Burr Rabbit's feet, and Bugs Bunny's cheeks and ears. Kathleen Turner was brought along by Zemeckis, the director, to provide uncredited voice of Jessica Rabbit, Roger's wife. Zemeckis had worked with her in a previous film, and Kathleen Turner accepted the role because she was pregnant at the time and just had to show up and do the voice.
Okay. They're uncredited, I wonder.
I have no idea. That's crazy. Of course they do that to the woman. Right. Head of animation, Richard Williams, explained that Jessica's design and characterization was inspired by some old-time actresses, Rita Hayworth, Veronica Lake, Lauren Bacall, and a combination of some other chicks, and was the ultimate male fantasy drawn by a cartoonist. Tim Curry auditioned for the role of Judge Doom, but was rejected because the producers found him too terrifying. I would have loved to seen him in that role.
Who's Tim who?
Tim Curry.
Oh, Jade. Too terrifying.
No! He'd have been perfect. This was right up his alley.
He was scared the shit out. No, like, had it been... Still don't understand how this movie was like PG. Was it PG? Was it even PG-13? I think it was PG.
It's probably PG.
Don't understand how it was.
13. I don't know.
But he would have brought it over. It's kind of creepy.
He's not that creepy.
Nah, he'd have been too creepy. That's what the producer said. Girl, it's PG. It's not even PG-13. It's PG. They must have different credits back then.
Right.
Different tiers.
Let's get to the writing. The red car plot, suburb expansion, urban and political corruption thing really did happen. In Los Angeles during the 1940s, car and tire companies teamed up against the Pacific Electric Railway system and bought them out of business. Where the freeway runs in Los Angeles is where the red car used to be.
Oh.
The Toon Patrol, the Weasels, are named Stupid, Smartass, Greasy, Wheezy, and Psycho. They are based off of the 7 dwarves from Snow White. Originally, there were 7 weasels, but Slimy and Sleazy were written out of the script. Further references in the movie included the Ink and the Paint Club, I guess that's in the movie, resembling the Harlem Cotton Club, which was a club in New York City that featured a lot of black artists, but black people were not allowed to patronize there.
That's where Jessica works, the Ink and Pink Club.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah, because that makes sense. Because when they got there and they were like, oh, it's humans only, I instantly was like, oh, that's so Jim Crow of you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Full circle.
That makes sense because they were toons performing, but only humans could go.
Right, and they were working it because that's where Betty Boo worked.
Zemeckis also compared Judge Doom's invention of the dip to eliminate all the toons to Hitler's final solution.
Jesus.
Dark.
Okay.
It's very dark. Before finally agreeing on Who Framed Roger Rabbit as the film title, working titles included Murder in Toontown, Toons, Dead Toons Don't Pay Bills, The Toontown Trial, Trouble in Toontown, and Eddie Goes to Toontown.
I would say Murder in Toontown, Trouble in Toontown, but honestly, Who Framed Roger Rabbit is...
I honestly have never been sold on the title Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I think it's too long.
Oh, I love it. I feel like it captures the vibe of the movie.
Essence of the film. I think it gives away too much. I think it tells the whole damn story in the title, and it's too much.
We know Roger's ass didn't do it.
I like Murder in Toontown. I think they should have.
I kind of like it, but it feels too serious.
That's real. Okay, last little section. Filming. The production budget continued to escalate while the filming schedule ran longer than expected. When the budget reached $40 million, Disney CEO Michael seriously considered shutting down the production, but the studio chairman at the time talked him out of it. Despite the budget escalating to over $1 million. I'm not going to say it because then that'll give away how much the budget was. Disney moved forward on the production because they were enthusiastic to work with Steven Spielberg.
Hell yeah.
Bob Hoskins studied his daughter Rosa at the time, playing with her imaginary friends to get the feel of acting with cartoon characters.
Studied or spent time with your daughter?
Right.
I don't know. He decided to be a father.
and be present. He was required to take mime training courses in preparation and performed his own stunts for the film. He experienced hallucinations of weasels and rabbits creeping out of the wall at him for months after production wrapped, and did not.
What drugs are you doing?
Right. Like, what?
Come on. What?
Right.
He's mething acting Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Calm the fuck down.
When he's filming, there's no... Now, I don't know if they use, like, props or, like, stuffed, like animals.
Because, like, yeah.
But, like,
he's just saying that in his head he started picturing them and he couldn't turn it off.
Right.
I guess. Okay, I'll let him have it. But Jesus, dude.
And he did not appear in another film until Heart Condition in 1990. I don't know if that's because he was so tormented from this film. I don't know.
Apparently so. He kept seeing Roger everywhere.
Right. And then, so Hawkins' son, Jack, refused to talk to him for 2 weeks after seeing the film, later revealing his dissatisfaction of his father working with cartoon characters like Mickey Mouse, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and not letting him meet them.
Oh,
isn't that adorable? Principal photography began on December 12th, 1986, and lasted for 7.5 months at Elstree Studios, which is located in London, with an additional month in Los Angeles. The film was released June 22nd, 1988, and was distributed by Buena Vista Pictures, which is just a subsidiary of Disney Pictures. Budget!
I think at one point you said it was supposed to be $30 million. So I'm going to say $50 million?
That is correct. $50.6 million.
In 1986?
It was the largest production dedicated to an animated film. Box office.
That's a hard one for me because I'm not sure what people were fucking spending in 1986. Is this part of the vibe? Is this crazy? Are moms against drunk driving boycotting this movie? I'm going to say, I hope they made $100 million.
No.
I kind of think that it did terrible. $20 million.
Feels that way, doesn't it?
30 million? 40 million. Okay, 70 million.
You were closer at 100.
Okay, 90. 110.
You were closer.
120. 140. 150. Okay, 170. 200 million? 250. 300 million. 500 million.
$351.5 million, becoming the second highest grossing film of 1988 behind Rain Man.
I have never seen Rain Man. I need to add that to the list. That's crazy. How much did Rain Man make?
354.
Oh,
so they barely missed them. So the film, it brought a renewed interest in the golden age of American animation, spearheading the Renaissance age of American animation and the Disney Renaissance. I don't really know what that is, but
okay.
It won
more animation.
Right. I feel like, because of this movie, is that why we got Pixar and DreamWorks,
Toy Stories, and everything. Yeah.
Right.
I think so. They were like, there's money here, guys.
Right. Well, look, this is what it says. The Disney Renaissance was a period from 1889 to 1999 during which Walt Disney Feature Animation returned to producing commercial and or critical successful animated movies, including Pocahontas, Little Mermaid, Hercules, Tarzan, Lion King, Aladdin, Mulan, Beauty and the Beast.
That's their bread and butter right there.
And it's all because of this little movie right here. The film won 3 Academy Awards for Best Film Editing, Best Sound Effects Editing, and Best Visual Effects, and received a Special Achievement Academy Award for Williams Animation's direction. He was the guy over the animation portion of the film.
Yeah.
In 2016, the film was selected for the preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Period. How do you get that job? I don't want that job. How I get on the library, the Library of Congress for the film registry, picking the films that get to be on the special list. Cast. Live action cast. Bob Hoskins as Eddie Valiant, a Los Angeles private investigator. Christopher Lloyd as Judge Doom, a Toontown court judge. Stubby Key as Marvin Acme, the owner of Acme Corporation and Toontown. Joanne Cassidy as Dolores, a bar waitress and Eddie's girlfriend. Is she his girlfriend?
Yeah.
It seems complicated.
They dated.
They seem like ex. Alan Tilvern as R.K. Maroon, the head of Maroon Cartoons. Richard Lee Perminter as Lieutenant Santino. Voice actors Charles Fleischer as Roger Rabbit, Kathleen Turner as Jessica Rabbit.
And before we begin with the movie recap, don't forget to rate, subscribe, comment. If you listen to the podcast, you like it, leave a comment, rate us. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok at either Please Don't Spoil the Movie or Please Don't Spoil. So the movie takes place in 1947 Hollywood, Los Angeles, where humans and cartoons live alongside each other. The movie begins with a TV episode recording of a Tom and Jerry type cartoon, but in this case, it's Roger Rabbit, who's one of our main characters, and his co-star, which is a baby. I can't think of his name right now, but he's a baby. In real life, he's actually a grown man. At the end of this scene, Roger gets yelled at by the producer for not hitting his lines. His lines being, instead of having birds fly across his head when he gets knocked out by a refrigerator, he's supposed to have stars. He's not hitting his mark.
Yeah.
And he's not doing well.
He's not producing.
Then we cut to another main character, Eddie. Half the time I was doing this, I thought his name was Freddie, but it is Eddie. Eddie is a private detective, and he has shown up on the studio lot to meet with the studio director, studio president. He's an owner of the studio, R.K. Maroon. He wants to hire Eddie to investigate Roger Rabbit's wife, Jessica Rabbit, because he believes that she's having an affair, and he believes that this affair allegedly is affecting his performance because his performance has been lacking, and he's a man, or rabbit per se, that produces TV well when his heart is in it, and the distraction of his wife is throwing him off, and he wants Eddie to prove that he's having an affair so that he can tell Roger, and then Roger could forget about it and he could perform better on set. Hi, kid, you're tossing me money. I gotta hire a private investigator.
Listen up here, kiddo. If you can't get your lines right, and if you can't do this script, you're out of here. Yeah, I can. You axe. You hear?
If you ain't got the smarts, you ain't got the whippersnapper. Okay, whatever. Boo. Boo. So the rumor is, that's going around town, is Jessica Rabbit is having an affair with Marvin Acme, who's the owner of Acme Corporation in Toontown, which is another, maybe a production studio, or he owns the town, Toontown, where all the toons live, the animation people live. So he wants to hire Eddie to do this investigation. But Eddie has a dark past with Toons and Toontown, and he's not really into the idea of working for Toon or investigating Toon. But Eddie says, hey, you ain't got to go to Toontown. He's got to follow her around here, and I'll pay you $100.
100 smackaroos.
So he reluctantly accepts the offer.
He takes the gig. $50 now, $50 when the job is done.
Well, okay, let me do 50. Let me do the inflation calculator.
It's like I did it. I think it's like $800. It wasn't even like 1,000.
Back then, $800 could get you a lot. I know it's so inflation, but like,
I guess. So, cut to Eddie pulls up at the local bar to meet his girlfriend, situationship girl, Jessica. But before he heads into the
Dolores.
But before he heads into the bar, he also sees this sign going up on some building, and the signage has the name Cloverleaf. Looks like some company named Cloverleaf is taking over something. So he goes into the bar, meets up with his old chick. One of his bar buddies is passed out drunk. He asks one of the other patrons at the bar, hey, what's wrong with Frank? Guy tells him, Frank got laid off. He works for the Red Car, which is the local trolley transportation that they have, and he got laid off. Some bigwig company bought it, fired him due to cuts, they said, and he's down and out. And Eddie's like, tough. He goes to his girlfriend, Dolores, and he presents Dolores with the check that he got, and he's like, look, Dolores, I got your money. And Dolores is like, oh, you got my $100 that you owe me? Good. She's like, is this check even good? Like, who's it from? R.K. Maroon. And she's like, R.K. Maroon? R.K. Maroon as in Maroon Pictures? And he's like, yep, that's right. That's right, babe. And while he's telling Dolores about this news that he has this money coming in, he owes Dolores money. One of the other patrons comes into the bar, sits down, makes fun of Eddie for getting a check from RK Maroon because he now thinks, oh, Eddie is working for some tunes. And Eddie quickly lets him know, hey, motherfucker, I don't work for no tune, okay? And he storms out right after assaulting him. He hits the guy against like the bar counter and everything. And the guy gets up, he turns to Dolores and is like, what's his problem? Dolores reveals to us that Eddie's brother was killed by a tune. Dropped a piano on his head.
Crazy.
It's tough.
After this, Eddie begins his investigation. He was told that Jessica performs at the Ink and Pink Club. So he rolls up to there late at night. He says the secret password. He walks in, and when he walks in, he sees who? Daffy and Donald Duck? Is that what
It's Daffy Duck and Donald Duck. They're doing a wonderful performance.
Piano this, piano that. They're showing their moves off. Who's also there in attendance is Marvin Acme, who allegedly is having an affair with Jessica Rabbit, Roger Rabbit's wife. So he sees him. He bumps into him. Well, he doesn't even talk to him first. The first thing that Acme does is spray him with ink. And then Eddie gets upset, obviously.
Eddie's a very hostile man. And he's a drunk.
That's his whole thing. Everyone, and not only is he an alcoholic, everyone calls him out being alcoholic.
I don't remember his alcoholism being so prevalent in the film.
And also very rude to keep calling it out. Two, who isn't an alcoholic in 1940? What
right.
man?
We just made alcohol legal again. Of course I'm drinking it.
And my brother died.
Right.
Okay. Piano. I saw it with my own eyes.
Right.
But so yes, Acme there. He sprays them with ink, and then Eddie's upset, and then Acme's like, "Look, brother, look, son, it's no big deal. It's invisible ink." So Acme's full of jokes. He's a true Toontown ally, if you will. So soon after this, Jessica Rabbit, it's time for her to enter on stage. It's time for her performance. Everyone's seated. We see Betty Boo, who's serving that night, and she works there now because she's in black and white. I just thought it was cute to see her.
Yeah. But she's been out of commission ever since cartoons went to color, and she's in black and white.
But Jessica Rabbit gets up there. She is a, can I say the word bimbo? She's shaped like a bimbo.
I mean, she's a bimbo. That's fair.
When you think of a caricature of a bimbo, that's what Jessica Rabbit is. Gorgeous, honey.
I think she's a little bit more elevated than a bimbo, though. She's like,
yes, her shape is a bimbo, but her mind is intellectual.
and she's in a gown, so it's like an elevated bimbo.
She does her performance. Everyone's in awe. Acme's in awe. Eddie's in awe. 10 out of 10. She's done with her performance, and Eddie's still, trying to investigate this affair thing. He sneaks out around back of the bar and finds a window, and he looks inside the window, and he sees, oh my God, Jessica and Acme, this is crazy, playing patty cake. Could you imagine?
But they're we just see him looking through the window, and like, she's like saying patty cake, but she's saying it like all sexual, and then it gets louder and she's like moaning. So it sounds like that's like her weird like sex word. But then it turns out they were literally just playing patty cake.
Parts like this, I'm like, how's this movie PG? And not even PG-13. Also, alcoholism it's not PG-13.
It's the 80s.
Then we cut to immediately after this. We're back at the Maroon studios. We have Mr. Maroon, Roger, and Eddie. And Eddie's showing Roger the picture of his wife in Acme playing patty cake, literally patty cake. And he cannot believe that his wife would cheat on him. He loves her. He's distraught. He's upset.
Patty cake! Patty cake! He's playing patty cake!
Eddie gets him a shot of liquor, which you can't give to Toons. He goes skyrocket. He gets even more upset. And then he grabs Eddie and he's like, she's not cheating on me. I love her. She's not going to do it. And then he storms out the window in a full animation fashion and like leaves like
his animation print through the glass. Eddie's like, all right, well, this was fun. Hey, Maroon, can I get my other $50? And Maroon's like, yeah, sure. So Eddie goes home, calls it a day, drinks some alcohol, gets a little drunk, gets a little toasted, wakes up the next day. He's at his office. He is greeted by Lieutenant Santino. And Santino goes to Eddie and is like, hey, Eddie, if you needed some money, you could have just came and, like, hollered at me. And, like, Eddie's like, so I took some, like, floozy pictures, like, big deal. Like, who cares? And Lieutenant Santino's like, little do you know, now we've got a murder investigation on our hand. Because Acme's dead, and the rabbit whacked him last night. Eddie's like, yo, what?
Also, backstory. Eddie used to be a cop with his brother. They were really into tunes, and I think they were even part of a circus.
Yeah, I think when they were younger, they were in the circus. They were very whimsical and laughy when they were. Yeah, they helped the tunes out back in their heyday when him and his brother were still active. But, you know, things change. People die. Other people become drunks. So nothing stays the same.
Yeah.
So Lieutenant Santino and Eddie head over to Acme Studios to investigate this murder, I guess. They're super close to Toontown. Eddie's like, whoa, I haven't been this close to Toontown in forever. They head into the warehouse where Acme was canned. A safe was dropped on his head. Tough way to go.
But this sounds familiar, this death.
Doesn't it? There's a couple of different police officers there. This guy makes fun of Eddie for being an alcoholic. They're playing with some of the Acme products that are there. Jessica Rabbit is in the back being investigated by the police as well. So, you know, we're uncovering the scene. While we're moving and grooving, while we're moving around, there's some crate that has some tune equipment in there. It gets dropped. A lot of these tunes are released out of this crate. And in the mix of the chaos, Eddie tries to steal some evidence. He goes to pick it up and grab it, and he is swiftly interrupted by this very dark, very creepy, very no-nonsense judge. Judge Doom. He grabs Eddie, and he says, is this motherfucker removing evidence from a crime scene?
Evidence?
Lieutenant Santino has to back Eddie up. He's like, sorry, no, Lieutenant, that's definitely not what he was doing. And Eddie is like, yeah, sorry. And Lieutenant Doom asks Eddie, were you with the rabbit last night? And Eddie's like, yeah, I was. And according to R.K. Maroon, says Judge Doom, Roger even said that he was going to get Acme and have him avenged. And Doom is like, is all of that true? And Eddie's like, look, I don't know anything about that. I'm just here.
So while Judge Doom is doing his bit, we hear from Lieutenant, and Lieutenant tells Eddie that Judge Doom, he's the judge, the authority figure over Toontown. And Eddie's like, well, how did he get that gig? They have this thing, I forgot what they call them, Somalians? It's basically money. And he basically says he bribed his way to become the authority figure, the judge over Toontown, which is strange because he's not a Toon. So they have that little side conversation. And then we see Judge Doom do his thing. And then he's also introducing his henchmen, which are the 5 weasels. They're his minions. They also call it the Toon Patrol. And they're going to be sent out to find Roger. While he's doing his whole little thing, he introduces, or he tells everyone that recently he found a concoction that can kill Toons. It was previously thought that Toons can't die easily, or like it's really hard to kill them. But he created this concoction that's like acid and all this stuff. And to demonstrate the fact that he can kill a Toon, he takes up an innocent Toon, I think it's like a shoe, and he slowly dips it into the dip, is what he calls it, and kills him. And then he says, this is what I plan to do to Roger once I find him.
I feel so bad for that precious little animated toy shoe. It was like a baby.
Can he just kill people willy-nilly?
Right. I was like, that's not justice. Yeah, like, that's you can't just kill Toons. That's what they do to black people. Right. They're just like, yeah. The Toons are black people.
He just killed them.
So they're just like, yeah, let's execute them.
The shoe didn't even do nothing.
Yeah.
And no one stopped it.
Most black people don't do anything either. And it was never stopped when those black people were getting killed. Okay. You know?
She said, you see this in reality.
Right.
So after this, Eddie goes back to his office. And at the door, he finds Baby Herman, which is the baby that worked with Roger.
His co-star.
Baby Herman is there to plead Roger's case. He says Roger would never do something like this. And actually, I believe that Acme was whacked because of his will. And in his will, he allegedly leaves Toontown to the Toons. And he thinks that's why he was whacked.
And Eddie's basically like, what that got to do with me? And the baby is, well, I figured since you're the one who got him in trouble in this mess by taking those pictures of his wife, I thought you would be the one to want to help him. He's like, I can pay you. And Eddie's not interested.
I think it's hilarious that the baby is just a grown man.
Yeah, smoking a cigar and all.
Man baby is what they call them in today's time.
Man child.
And they still exist.
So Eddie goes into his office and he's trying to decompress, you know. He's like, look, it ain't my fault the rabbit killed the guy. I just took some pictures. So he's taking off his jacket. He's looking at the newspaper. The newspaper, on the cover, it's a picture of Acme, then alive, with Jessica Rabbit playing patty cake. The photos that he took are in the local newspaper. And he's taking off his jacket. He's decompressing. And he drinks his alcohol because he's a drunk. He puts his alcohol glass on top of the newspaper that he was just looking at, leans over to take off his jacket, and looks through the glass on top of the newspaper and sees that there is something in Acme's pocket through the glass on the newspaper in the photo. And so then he takes out his magnifying glass to investigate further and sees that, in fact, in Acme's pocket is his last will and testament. And Eddie's like, oh, shit, the baby was right. But then Eddie's like, the hell with it. That ain't got shit to do with me. I got paid. I got my money. I don't care. So he goes to his bed. He pulls it out the wall. He got a bed that's in the wall. He pulls it down as he's about to get comfortable, go to sleep after a day full of drinking and booze. Roger Rabbit is in his bed. Yowza. To his surprise, he's like, what are you doing here? Roger, being the animated character that he is trying to plead his case to Eddie. He's like, look, you have to know I didn't do this. I would never kill anyone. I just wanted to get my Jessica back. I was going to go to our house, wait for her, write her this love letter. I didn't do this. This isn't me. Eddie basically doesn't want to hear any of it. He's like, look, I need you out of here. You're here. People are going to think I'm harboring a fugitive. The weasels are looking for you. Now people know that you're here because you were going around asking everybody about me and where I stay. And now you're here, so the weasels know that I probably have you in my house. You got to go. You got to go.
Has to go.
And just in due time, of course, that exactly happens. The weasels now get word that Roger could potentially be at Eddie's location. And so they arrive there.
I think the weasels are my favorite characters in this whole movie. Between like when they're investigating in the part when, spoiler, when they die, I love the little.
I think they will make a great like group Halloween costume. It would be very niche.
Ooh, it would be very
niche. But I think it would make a great.
That would be fun.
Very great costume.
Someone do it.
Right.
Whoever has 5 friends out there, you do it.
You can do it.
Good luck. So the weasels have arrived.
Eddie ain't got time to think because Roger handcuffs himself to Eddie. So now he's kind of stuck with him. And now he does have to hide him because he's handcuffed to him and the weasels are on their way up. Also failed to mention that Roger was adamant about writing a love letter to Jessica to profess his love to her and tell her, hey, I still love you, baby. It doesn't matter. And I think he got this sheet of paper. He wrote it on a clean, plain sheet of paper that he got out of her dressing room. Remember that. That comes back and play later.
So the Toon Patrol has entered the apartment looking for Roger. But Eddie's keeping it cool. He's washing dishes. He's saying, I don't know where Roger is. I don't know what happened. And when the weasels look away, Roger pops out of the sink. So he's hiding in the water. And the whole time, the weasels are looking around. And throughout the whole movie, they have this thing where every time one of them laughs, someone says, don't laugh. You know what happens when you laugh? You could laugh to death. So the weasels look around. They can't find Roger. So they leave. After this, Eddie goes to Dolores for help because right now he has a rabbit chained to his arm who was also a criminal, someone wanted for murder. So he goes to Dolores, he goes to the bar, he goes to the back and he says, "Hey, do you have any tools to help get this man off my arm?" So he gets in there, he starts sawing the handcuffs. Roger reveals that at any moment he could have taken off the handcuffs because they don't fit him, but that's besides the point. At this point, Eddie believes that Roger is not the murderer of any of this. He does have some suspicion that Jessica is behind this. Eddie's theory is that R.K. Maroon killed Acme so he can get to Toontown. And then after this, Dolores agrees to let Roger stay at the bar and watch over him, and she'll try to help where she can. Dolores is very nice because if I was your ex, and I'm assuming they didn't end on good terms, and I feel like he just like pushes aside, and you owe me money.
Right.
Don't come up here and ask if you're my help.
She like him though.
She do. So Roger's gonna stay at the bar, and then Eddie, for whatever, just goes back up to his office to shower. When he hops to the shower, he exits. He finds Jessica in his office, and she's looking at herself in the mirror. I don't know why they did that for her, but she's basically saying, "Will you help me find my husband, Roger?" And Eddie's like, "Help you find him? I think you're behind this. I think you're on this scheme." And Jessica's like, "No, I love him. I would never do this to him." Also, she says that
what you don't know, Mr. Valiant, is that you were set up to take those pictures. J.K. Maroon tried to blackmail me because he told me if I didn't take these pictures with Acme and pretend like I was having this affair, that Roger would never work in this town again. And I'll do anything for my husband. I can't allow him not to work. He needs to support me. So, of course, I had to do what I had to do.
it was a plot by, what is it? It's a scheme set up by Ty.
It was a scheme that Ty set up to come to you with the bullshit. And just as Jessica is revealing this information to Eddie, somehow his pants fall down. Girl, I don't know. But Dolores,
I don't think he had a belt on when he came out the shower.
oh, he had no belt on. And
suspenders, excuse me. He never had suspenders.
oh, his suspenders weren't on. So Jessica, is giving him all of this information, but she's also very sexy and attractive. So he is looking at her tits, accidentally hits her tits, and his pants fall down. And then Dolores walks in and sees him in a very compromising position right in front of Jessica. Pants are down. It just doesn't look good. And they're very close. Dolores is like, "Am I interrupting something?" Jessica's like, "I'm gonna go." Dolores is like, What are you doing? Why are your pants down?" And Eddie is like, "Look, it's not what it looks like. Don't think this 2-time animated floozy will keep me straying, because that's not the case." And he's basically like, "Okay, but what information did you get? What info did you get that you were supposed to?" And Dolores was like, "Baby, I got tough news for you. You are not on the verge of cracking this case. Because R.K. Maroon is not interested in Acme's will or buying Toontown. Because when I went downtown to look at the records, the person who placed in the highest bidder for Toontown was Cloverleaf." Eddie's like, "Cloverleaf? What the fuck is that?" "Cloverleaf? I heard about Cloverleaf. Cloverleaf is the company that just bought the red car. And now they're interested in Toontown? Well, that doesn't make any sense to me. Now I'm confused," Eddie says.
And then by midnight tonight, if there's no Acme's will that proves that Toontown will go to the Toons, then Cloverleaf will officially own Toontown. So they have until tonight. But they are distracted by a loud noise that's coming out of the bar that Dolores works at. And they're like, "Oh, Jesus, it's Rogers." And Roger is giving a performance of his time. He's kikiing, he's laughing. All the bar patrons are having a great time. And then Eddie's like, "What the hell are you doing? You're supposed to be maintaining a low profile. You're supposed to be in the back. Why are you out in the front? You're wanted for murder." So the weasels, who are everywhere, they had some suspicion that Roger was at the bar. So right after Eddie pulls Roger to the back, the weasels show up, and so does Judge Doom. They enter looking for Roger. "Has anyone seen a rabbit?" And everyone's keeping a hush.
That was pretty good.
Even when not Dr. Doom,
Judge.
which is a dead giveaway that he's evil, Judge Doom offers whoever has information about Roger, he offers them $500.
I thought it was 5,000.
I think it's 500.
Oh.
I don't think they had 5. I don't think 5,000
Right.
was. That's a millionaire. $500. But because Roger made everyone laugh, even the worst people in the bar are not giving up Roger. They're like, we don't know what you're talking about. Get on out of here. And the Weasel's like, do you want us to turn over the joint, boss man? And he's like, no, I know how to dig out a tune this way. So he does the, what's it called? I have it written down somewhere. He does the shave and a haircut 2 bits now. So he keeps doing the beginning half of it. And he keeps going around. Because a tune can't let the
bit go unfinished. You have to finish the bit.
So he does it. And Eddie in the back is like, that's so stupid. This is not going to work. He turns around. Roger is going berserk. He's trying to hold it in. He's like, I gotta let it out. I think after the 4th one, Roger explodes. He walks into the main bar area and he goes, dun, dun. Judge Doom grabs Roger. He's like, gotcha, motherfucker. And he brings Roger above the dip. I guess he travels with the dip. He doesn't give this man no trial, no time to plead his case, no more evidence. He's going to dip him in the bar. You're going to murder someone? You're going to lethally inject someone to death in my bar? What the fuck? That's crazy.
We're having a due process.
But Eddie has an idea. He asks Dolores to pour him a shot. Can the guy who's about to die have his one last drink? And Roger's like, no, I'm good. And then Eddie's like, no, take it. And Roger's like, no, I'm good. And then Eddie's like, no, yes. And then Eddie's like, no. And then Roger's like, yes. And then Eddie's like, no. And then Roger takes the shot. And he goes berserk, similar to how he did in the movie, because he can't handle alcohol and he goes crazy. He escapes Judge Doom's hold that allows Eddie and Roger to escape. They head outside. They find one of Roger's animation car friends in the back of a cop car. I'm assuming the Weasels arrested him, but they use their friend, this car animation, to get away. Shout out to him.
So they're in the car with their animated car friend. They're like, take us where, we can hide. We can be inconspicuous. He's like, oh, I know the place. For whatever reason, they end up at a movie theater. Roger's having a laugh. Everyone in the theater is having a laugh. Eddie is not laughing. And Roger is like, why you don't laugh at shit? What is wrong? What do I have to do to get your puss to laugh?
Your puss.
He's like, why are you like what happened to you? Who hurt you? And Eddie's like, you want to know what happened to me? You want to know what happened to me? A tune killed my brother. Roger says, a tune? No. And he's like, yeah, me and my brother, back in the day, we used to work Toontown all the time. We thought it was a laugh. And there was this case we were working on. This guy had stole a gazillion Somalians, a gazillion Toon dollars or something, I guess. And, we followed him into Toontown, but he got the best of us. He ended up at the top of a 15-story building and ended up dropping a piano on top of us. Broke my arm, and my brother, he didn't make it. Oh, Roger is distraught at the sound of this story. He's boo-hooing, he's crying, he's animated. And he's like, no wonder you hate me. He's like, ugh, I don't hate you. He's like, yes, you do. That's why you pull my ears and choke me all the time. But I would hate me too if a tune killed my brother. And he's like, it's not that big of a deal, I guess. In walks Dolores. Dolores comes in because now Eddie and Roger, they kind of have to go on the run. Eddie is under fire for harboring a fugitive. Roger's wanted for murder. They gotta go. Right. Dolores comes in and she's like, look, I packed your car, got your shit. And Eddie looks at Dolores and is like, you know what, Dolores? You really deserve a good man.
She does.
Dolores looks back at Eddie and says, but I already have one. It's up for debate, I guess. He's okay.
Right.
He could do better.
If he stopped being alcoholic.
Right.
10 out of 10.
And paid his bills. Stop asking you for money.
Right.
Maybe. So the two almost kiss. Of course, they're interrupted by Roger. And Moment's dead. So they're like, okay, let's get out of here. As they're leaving, a quick news clip video comes on the theater screen. It is talking about the company Greenleaf acquiring RK Maroon Productions. Eddie, as he is leaving the theater, hears this. And he says, oh my goodness, that is the connection. Cloverleaf, RK Maroon, distribution company, whatever, they're in bed together. There's fuckery afoot.
So Eddie decides not to leave town. He decides to continue the investigation like a good boy. So that night, Eddie arrives at the Maroon studio because he plans on interrogating Mr. Maroon. He was able to have a meeting with them because he told Maroon that he has the will. So before he goes in there, he tells Roger to stay out here, be the guard. And Roger's like, yeah, I can do anything. I can be the best guard that you ever had. Eddie walks inside, and Roger immediately is knocked out and placed in the back of a car by no other than Jessica. Is she behind this? Is she the villain? Only time will tell. So Eddie goes inside and he immediately tries to get to the nitty-gritty with Maroon. And he's like, tell me what's happening. So Maroon reveals he was going to sell his lot to Cloverleaf, but Cloverleaf will only buy it if Acme will sell his property as well, and Toontown. But Acme did not want to sell it. So that's why he was trying to blackmail Jessica and Acme so he can get him to sell it so he can sell his property. Eddie's like, well, who's behind this? And Maroon is too terrified to say who's behind this. And out of the corner of Eddie's eyes while he's saying this, he sees a gun, the longest gun in world's history, coming out the window. And he moves out the way because the gunsman was going to shoot him. And instead it shoots Maroon. Feels like, how is this? There's a murder. There's literally a gunshot. What is PG? So the gunsman shoots Maroon. Eddie is able to get out of harm's way. And the gunman gets away. He looks out the window and he sees Jessica tip-tapping away in her beautiful red dress. And he's like, it's clearly this girl behind it. So he runs outside. He only sees a car go past. And he's like, oh no, where's Roger? So he gets in his car, follows the car that just sped away. And he sees a car go into the tunnel that leads to Toontown. He, of course, has a debilitating fear of Toontown. He hasn't been in there since his brother died. He does not mess with Toons, and he surely does not want to go to Toontown. So he stops the car right outside the tunnel. Eddie takes a moment. He gets out his car. He looks at Toontown, and he makes the decision right then and there that he will not let this fear stop him. He goes to his trunk. He pulls out his old Toontown gun, which is like an animated gun. Inside it are like 4 bullets, and they're all like different kind of cowboys or Western people. One's a Native American. I don't know how I feel about that. But all these animated bullets, and he puts them in the gun, and they're like, "Oh, Eddie,
we haven't seen you in years. Where you been?" And he's like, drunk.
Right. They haven't seen him since his brother died. So he puts the bullets in his gun. He gets back in the car. He's about to take a swig of his alcohol, to give him a little liquid of motivation. But he stops it before it touches his lips, pours it out, and throws the bottle away. He is now sober. So he drives into Toontown, and this might be one of my most favorite scenes ever in the movie. As he's driving into Toontown, it's like full-on production. He's in 100% animation mode, and it's like everyone's greeting.
It was too much animation. I was like, ugh, it's overkill.
It's like it was like a throw up.
Yeah, it was like a throw up of animated trees and rainbows and birds and flowers. And everything was big. It was too much. I was like, this is giving me a headache.
So he enters Toontown. Can't imagine how a man would ever love this. But the moment he gets past like the introduction of Toontown, immediately car accident. And then he sees a woman in one of the buildings that he thinks is Jessica Rabbit. So he enters the apartment complex. He goes up the stair. He goes up the elevator. It's a very cartoonish scene.
It's not Jessica Rabbit at all. It's a hideous woman. So now he has to run from her. He runs from her, opens the door, falls 1,000 stories. Sees Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny and Tweety Bird. He asks Bugs Bunny for a spare parachute. He gives him a spare tire.
Now, why would they ever want to work there?
Who?
That seems so chaotic and stressful. Him and his brother.
Oh, right.
Even riding the elevator was a lot.
I know. I was like, I could only do 5 minutes of this. And thank you. I'm done here.
Of course he's gonna die via a piano.
Of course someone's gonna drop a piano on its head. Surprised it didn't happen sooner. So he drops 1,000 feet, lands in the arms of the hideous woman that he thought was Jessica Rabbit, tries to, skirt her off, eventually is able to. and then runs down this dark alleyway that he believes Jessica has entered. He sees Jessica, but also there's a shadow behind him that he doesn't see. Jessica turns to Eddie, points a gun at him, and says, "Valiant." And Eddie looks at Jessica and is like, "I always knew I'd get it in Toontown." Jessica, gun still pointed at him, and says, "Look out!" Gun wasn't actually pointed at him. The gun was pointed at someone else. The shadow that was behind Eddie this whole time. And whose shadow did that belong to? Judge Doom.
And he admits it. He's like, "Yeah, you got me. I'm gonna kill
It
you."
was so anticlimactic how he was like, "Yep, it was me. Gotta go."
That's my one qualm.
Right.
Why did they reveal it like
And
that?
then he ran off like an idiot. I was like, why is he running like that?
It was a very much a cartoon.
It was
run,
so
evil runaway.
ugly. So Eddie almost gets shot. And Jessica saves him. And Eddie doesn't really believe that Jessica saves him. And Jessica's like, "I saved your life and you still not trusting me?" And she was like, "Believe the proof. Look at this gun that almost shot you. That is the same gun that shot R.K. Maroon. And you want to know who shot the gun? Doom. I saw him. I saw him shoot R.K. Maroon and then take off. So I followed him and he ran into Toontown." So now these two kind of have to band together. And they're like, "Okay, where's Roger?" Jessica's like, "I hit him over the head with a frying pan to protect him. Then he woke up, escaped. I think he drove off somewhere. We gotta find him, but we also gotta find Doom."
So they stick their thumb out on accident, and the animation car from earlier pulls up because when they last saw him, he was like, "Stick your thumb up and I'll be there." So here he is. While they're getting away because the weasels are now here, they're chasing after them. Jessica reveals to Eddie that on the night that her and Acme played patty cake, he gave her his will as safekeeping. But to her surprise, it was just a blank piece of paper. And so she doesn't really know what's going on now. So the animation car brings them back to human world. But when they get on the other side, Judge Doom is there waiting for him. He pours a whole bunch of dip onto the road, burning the feet of the animation car. So they crash, and Judge Doom is able to take Jessica and Eddie hostage. Soon after this happens, Roger comes up behind them. He misses the whole thing, but he finds the animation car. The animation car tells him that Judge Doom took Eddie and Jessica back to Acme's warehouse. So cut to, we're at the Acme's warehouse. Doom, Eddie, Jessica, and the weasels. And Doom reveals he's still looking for the will. When he finds what he thinks is a will, it's just a piece of paper with Roger Rabbit's love note on it. So he's like, the will isn't here.
And he's like, at this point, it don't matter. Because in 10 minutes, I'll own Toontown, will or no will. This shit gonna be mine.
So soon after, Doom reveals that he is the sole shareholder of Cloverleaf. So he's the one who bought the red car. He's the one who's trying to buy Toontown. He's the one trying to buy Cloverleaf. And his plan is to erase Toontown with he's created this dip spraying machine that is gonna melt away Toontown, and he wants to build a freeway in his place. And then Eddie's like, "That's stupid. Why would anyone buy a car and use the freeway when they could take the red line? It only costs 2 cents." And he's like, "Well, that's why I bought the red line, so I can decommission it, so everyone has to take the freeway and everyone has to buy a car." And that's true in American history because we don't have public transportation, so people can spend a lot of money on cars.
That's why you can't go from New Orleans to Chicago in 2 hours. It's gonna take you 50.
Right.
Because
that's why you can't go to New Orleans to Baton Rouge every day.
Right. We ain't got no train system for that because they eradicated it thanks to capitalism. So
yeah.
Eddie's like, "This is the dumbest idea I've ever heard. Like, this is stupid." And I feel that because to him, like, this is a foreign concept. So I could really understand, like, that not making any sense. I really could understand him being like, "I don't get it. Like, this doesn't make any sense to me." Because he's like...
The railroad part or the buying something just to destroy it?
No, just, like, the whole concept of the freeway. Because, like, Doom is like, there'll be billboards and fast food and car dealerships. And this is, like, at this point, a concept that does not exist. So he's he's launching this. I mean, to us, we know the freeway, but like this is something that's unheard of in 1947. So Eddie's probably like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, this is dumb.
And then it could be a cool idea if he wasn't so evil about it. So the plan is revealed. Roger has arrived. He's dropped out by the animation car. And he finds his way in. He falls into a toilet. Somehow that toilet leads into a pipe that he explodes from under the floor. And he enters. And he's got a gun that the animation car gave to him. And he's holding them hostage. He's in control. He gets excited and he's not paying attention. And one of the weasels drops a ton of bricks on him. And he's done for. And then Dune instructs the weasels to tie up Roger and Jessica, because so on Acme's property behind one wall is Toontown. He has the dip machine pointed at the wall between Human World and Acme, and also it's pointed at Jessica and Roger. So Eddie's not tied up. He's trying to see how he's going to get out of the situation. One of the weasels isn't paying attention. He tries to go for his gun, but Doom is like, pay attention. He's trying to go for your gun, and then while he's doing that, Dune falls, and then the weasels start laughing. And Dune goes, stop laughing. You're going to laugh yourself to death. And then we literally hear the light bulb sound that goes off in Eddie's mind. And Eddie's like, I know how to get out of this situation. Because he used to be a clown, he does his clown act.
So he puts on a little performance. A little razzle dazzle. He starts rhyming, and the weasels are eating this up. They can't stop laughing. Ha 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 ha. This shit is hilarious. They're laughing uncontrollably, one by one. The motherfuckers start laughing to death. One of them dies. The other one dies. Eddie puts one of them in the dip so he doesn't die laughing.
The head one.
Yeah, the leader gets thrown in the dip. Yeah. But eventually, they're all knocked out.
I think this is my favorite scene.
One of them, when one of them is like laughing to death and his soul is slowly leaving and he tries to grab the soul back, but he's still laughing while he's trying to save his soul. It's so funny. Yeah. And I also thought it was funny that the psychotic one is the one who lasted the longest. He was the one who died last. But eventually they all die. And Eddie is trying to save Roger and Jessica. He tries to turn off the dip machine that is getting closer and closer to spraying them to death. And he's interrupted, of course, by Judge Doom. I don't know where Judge Doom went away. He fucked up his eyes, so he came back. And now
I feel like he was just watching from afar half the time.
Well, I think when he fell, I think one of his eyes popped out or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so he went to pop his eye back in and then came back or something.
Yeah, I guess he thought they could handle it.
So Dr. Doom left, but he came back. He's reemerged. And he sees Eddie trying to stop the dip machine. And he, of course, now has to stop Eddie. And he jumps on him. They enter this battle royale session. They're fighting. Doom's throwing him. Eddie's kind of fighting back. But at some point, Eddie ends up in a compromising position. And he's kind of stuck. And Doom is coming at Eddie with a steamroller. Eddie is stuck. He finds a way to get out of that position, and now he's back to battling Doom. They're in this Acme warehouse, and there is gadgets and toys, all kinds, all over the place. So Eddie takes glue and places it in front of him because Doom's about to punch him. Doom ends up punching the glue, gets glue all over his hand, and this is like sticky cartoon extra adhesive glue. You touch something, you stuck to it. So now the steamroller is now behind Eddie. Eddie gets out the way because Doom's about to punch him with his gluey hands, but instead punches the steamroller. Now Doom is attached to the steamroller. The steamroller now begins to roll over Doom. He's getting flattened. He's hollering. Oh my God, the scream that he lets out is so it makes me uncomfortable. So now we're kind of slowly watching him die. But are we? After he gets completely trampled and rolled over and flattened, Roger tells Eddie, look, that motherfucker not dead. He turns around and Doom pops back up after he's been flattened. He stands up, he's completely flat, walks over to some helium machine, inflates himself, and Eddie's like, oh shit, he's a Toon. Doom turns around and says, that's right, Eddie, remember me? And now he's revealed in his true Toon nature. His eyes are red, they're bulgy, and he has a high, squeaky, pitched voice. And he's like, do you remember me, Eddie? It's me who killed your brother, and I talked just like this. It is so fucking creepy. Oh my God. The eyes are so it's the eyes and then his hair sticking up and the voice. Oh my God, it's too much. And now he looks like a demon. And now he is coming for Eddie. And he is getting closer and closer. And Eddie's like, oh shit, I gotta think fast. But now Eddie knows he's a Toon. I could put this dip straight on his ass and get him. Period. And that's exactly what Eddie does. He takes the Doom dip mechanism that Dr. Doom has created, and he turns it back on him, spraying him, rendering him useless. And he starts to melt. I'm melting. I'm melting. I'm melting. And Jessica and Roger report him. They've been sitting up there for hours. And they've been dodging dip all day. And Eddie gets them down. He clears the floor. He sprays the floor with water because there's dip everywhere.
Dip machine crashes into the wall, into Toontown, where it is instantly destroyed by a passing train. Just as all this is happening, the police, the Toons, gather at the scene. And they're looking upon Judge Doom's body. Here's my thing. They go, oh, he's wearing some type of mask. I wonder who he was. One, I thought, in my head, he was some Toon had sex with a human, and that's what he created. That's what I was thinking. I thought he was some byproduct of inbreeding, some type of, you know. But they made it seem like he was a Toon wearing a mask. Now, I want to know then who was the Toon? I have more questions.
Who was underneath the mask?
Who was underneath the mask?
My question is, why did he want to present as a human? And why was he trying to destroy his own people? That's self-hatred. What was that about?
Why? Who hurt you?
Right. Why do you want to be a human so bad? Life's funner as a Toon.
What can make you an evil Toon? Like, I can understand what make you, but like, why are you evil? What happened?
Right.
How is that so? Because it seemed like it's unheard of to them. But yes, the police have gathered at the scene. They're standing there overlooking it. Dolores is looking at Eddie. He's like, you got a stain on your shirt, ma'am. I just survived death. He's like, oh, Acme hit me with this invisible spray. I guess it didn't really work. Roger reveals a can of the invisible reappearing ink, and a light goes off once again into Eddie's head, and he's like, huh. So he pulls out the love letter that Roger had wrote for Jessica, and he asks Roger to read it again. Roger is reading, dear Jessica, how can I say the ways I love you? And then the words of the will start to pop up, and it says, I now leave Toontown to the Toons. So the love letter that he had written to Jessica was actually the will that Acme wrote, but he wrote it in reappearing ink because he was a trickster. He was truly for the Toons, honey. So the Toons, everyone hears this, they're excited. Now they have a place to call home. They won't be forced out. And at this point, Roger and Eddie share a lovely kiss, and we can see that Eddie's finally get his humor back, and he might be a little Roger in the future, and maybe even with their own show. That'll be fun. And then we happily see Eddie, the Toons, Dolores, Jessica, Roger, and they walk into the Toontown, and all's well and ends well. And then we see a whole bunch of classic animation characters. But yeah, and the movie ends. How is this a children's movie? I must ask. Alcoholism, murder, kind of creepy, corruption, genocide, basically.
That's so true. It definitely pushes the limit. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. I think the alcoholism was a big story for children.
I literally don't remember. This is so interesting how you really just like tune shit out as a child, because I do not remember his drinking being that present in the film.
Yeah, it was literally, he was a detective. And then he was an alcoholic.
Right, in that order.
He was probably an alcoholic first,
then a detective.
and then a detective.
Right.
My 10 out of 10 movie, guys. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your besties, tell your mom, your dad, your sisters, and your brothers.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Adios.